Sonic the Hedgehog has the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. That is why in today's video, I'll be going over one thing I hate about every Sonic game, all the way from Sonic 1 to the recently released Sonic Superstars. And we will only be covering mainline Sonic games, but before getting into that, one thing I hate about YouTube is that 88% of you guys are not subscribed, but still watch a lot of my videos, so if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe and enjoy the rest of the video. First, Sonic the Hedgehog 1991, the game that started it all, and I shuffled between two things that I hate the most in this game, which was the lack of the spin dash and level flow. I ended up choosing level flow because the lack of spin dash is pretty much fixed in later editions such as like Sonic Origins and stuff like that. Now, what I mean by level flow is that practically every zone in Sonic 1, Green Hill Zone's level flow is completely different than like Marble Zone or Labyrinth Zone's flow. In Green Hill Zone, you're able to fly through levels, while in later zones there are sections where you literally cannot go past them because there are sections in the game that pretty much require you to wait, and the game sometimes forget it's supposed to be Sonic the Hedgehog and not Super Mario Bros. Next is Sonic 2. Now personally, this is one of my favorite classic Sonic games. This game is pretty much eliminates the level flow issue that Sonic 1 had, but the one thing I do hate from Sonic 2 is the difficulty spike that the later levels have, especially the final boss, which took me around like 2 hours to beat. Now don't get me wrong, I love a good challenge, but if I had to pick anything apart from this perfect game, it would be that. I am sure a lot of people had the same issue with how difficult those last zones were. Next is Sonic 3. Now this is probably going to make a lot of people mad, but remember, it is my opinion, so you are welcome to disagree, but the one thing I do hate the most about this game is the level design. A completely different approach from Sonic 2 was the level design. Now I personally do enjoy Sonic's 2 level design way better because you experience more speed easier, while in Sonic 3 levels, a lot of that is more catered towards exploration, which is not necessarily a bad thing. This is a lot of people's favorite Sonic game, but for me, it's just not my style. Next is Sonic CD. Now this game is one of the most controversial Sonic games, especially the classic ones, but the one thing I do hate about this game could be a couple things. One being the atrocious level that is Wacky Workbench, and then there's the aspect of time travel which kind of slows you down. Now honestly, I haven't played that much of Sonic CD as much as you guys probably, so I'm just gonna say Wacky Workbench. Now this level is such a mess of the stage. The first time I played this stage, oh my god, I had no idea what I was doing. It took me like just under 40 minutes to complete this level, and yeah, you can scream skill issue all you want, I don't care, the level sucks. There was so much to say about this game, so if you think of something else in this game that was worse than that monstrosity of a level, let me know in the comments down below. Next is Sonic Adventure. Now this is my top 3, top 5 Sonic games of all time, so there is little to say about this game, but if there's something I can say about this game that is worth hating is Big. Big the cat sucks. His fishing levels are trash, and yeah, it only takes around 30 minutes to do this story, but this game is so damn good, it's really hard pointing something out to hate, but then Big the cat exists. Next is Sonic Adventure 2. Now while this may be some people's favorite Sonic game, there is something that I have hated since day one. Actually, there's two things that I've hated. One, how trash the spin dash is in this game compared to Sonic Adventure 1. And two, Tails and Eggman levels. Now spin dash I can live with. Tails and Eggman levels, absolutely not. They are horrible. We've all played them. The flow of the game would run so much better without them. Knuckles and Rouge's scavenger hunt levels for the emerald pieces are tolerable. They're okay, but those mech levels, please. They play extremely different than any Sonic level in that game. All Tails levels are literally a run and shoot compilation with some platforming, which on paper is lame as hell, and during gameplay it's also lame as hell. We always talk about Sonic Adventure 2 being the best Sonic game of all time. Almost a third of the game is absolutely horrendous stages that cap you at running and gunning through the level. I don't know, people are not gonna like that one, but I don't care, it needed to be said. Incredible game, just that almost a third of the stages suck. Next is Sonic Heroes. Now this is another very controversial game for a lot of Sonic fans. Either you love it or you hate it. Me, honestly, I'm in the middle. But what I do hate the most about Sonic Heroes is how slippery Sonic feels. Seriously, like, this game controls like a mini Sonic R. Now, you get used to it after a while, but this is still a problem that I had during this game, which is why I ended it in this list. Next is Shadow the Hedgehog. Now, some people might consider this a spin-off, but I'll consider it a mainline Sonic game here. But anyway, something I do hate about this game, well, besides the controls being nearly identical to Sonic Heroes, which is something I hate, Hero and Dark Story challenges suck! I hate them so much. I have played through this game so many times, completed the Dark Story and Hero Story a handful of times, and I still struggle to find the damn black aliens in the first level. There's always a couple that I miss, and this happens in so many of these Hero and Dark Story challenges that it just makes you want to do the neutral story, and that's it. Next is Sonic 06. I always thought the glitches were just me being mad at the game until I got internet and I realized how hated my favorite Sonic game at the time was. But now that I have grown and matured, I can recognize that there are many things to hate about this game, such as the glitches, the extremely long loading times, flame core. But the one thing I hate the most about this game,
perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Next is Sonic Unleashed. Now, this is my favorite Sonic game of all time, but even I can admit that this game has its flaws. But me personally, I love the Hedgehog. I loved it so much. Some stages were poor, some were really good. But a part of this game that I straight up hate are the tornado defense levels. For some reason, Sega loves to give Tails the worst levels. I don't get it. First the mech levels from SA2, now these levels from Sonic Unleashed. While there's only 2 of them, it's such a dread to go through them, and even more so than some tedious Hedgehog levels, because although the Hedgehog is slow, the tornado defense levels have you constricted to pressing buttons until the level ends. Next is Sonic and the Black Knight. Now, story-wise, this game is great. Sonic's character is as good as ever, but the one thing I do hate about this game is the controls. While they're a step up from Sonic and the Secret Rings, they're still bad. There's a noticeable input delay when you swing the Wii remote in Black Knight, while in other titles in the Wii, such as like the Super Mario Galaxy, they have like little to no input delay, which is very annoying for stuff like the final boss fight, which needs timing in order to do it perfectly. Next is Sonic Colors. The thing I hate the most about this game is the abundance of 2D sections. Now, for a 3D Sonic game, it has a lot of 2D sections. Now, don't get me wrong, I like a good 2D section, but when it's actually good. Like, I really wish I could use some of the Wisp in 3D. Like, some of them are specifically created for 2D sections only, which is annoying, but whatever. Next is Sonic Lost World. Now, I'll be honest, the more I play this game, the more I like it. And yes, it has a lot of flaws. It's not the best Sonic game of all time, and it's also not the worst. But you know what the thing I hate the most about this game is? Why the f do I have to press a button to run? Next is Sonic Generations. Now, this game is great, a top tier Sonic game, and probably the last amazing modern Sonic game besides Frontiers. And now, the one thing I do hate about this game is the damn final boss. I cannot express how bad the bag was fumbled with this fight. It had so much potential, but it ends up being so repetitive, from the gameplay to voice lines of the characters trying to cheer me up. Like, no, all you're doing is giving me a damn headache. Next is Sonic Boom. Next is Sonic Mania. Now, I love Sonic Mania, but you guys know me. I hate water levels. So the one thing I hate about Sonic Mania is Hydro City. The place sucks. Anything underwater sucks. Ah! Next is Sonic Forces. This game is a poor man's Sonic Generations. Like, you would think with the story they were trying to tell with Eggman taking over the planet, with the war, like, there's nothing wrong with the game. But what I really hate about this game is how short it is. You can quite literally play through the whole game, not speedrun. You could quite literally just play through the game and you can refund it on Steam. Worst part about it is there's so many stages with an average of like a minute long gameplay, which is garbage, because if they literally combined some of these stages together, then those stages would have been bangers. Next is Sonic Frontiers. Now, Sonic Frontiers is a great game. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of flaws in this game, from the pop-in, Chaos Island, final boss. But with the DLC, the final boss was pretty much updated and fixed, so that's what I would have picked as the thing I hated the most. But since that was fixed, I'm not gonna lie, I love the cyberspace levels, but bro, the fact that all of them are Green Hill Zone, Chemical Plant, and Sky Sanctuary always pissed me off. Like, I wish that for every island, it was a different Sonic game. Like, for the second island, it could have been like a Potos, Wave Ocean, and Cityscape, and then for the third island, it could have been like Lava Reef, Ocean Palace, and something else. But like, the point is, I know it's Sonic's memories or whatever, but the fact is that it repeated in every island, and it felt really lazy in my opinion. Sonic Superstars, the boss battles. I hate the boss battles in this game. The secret final boss fight for the last story is incredible, but brother, some of these boss fights are lacking in quality. There were some boss fights that quite literally took 3 to 5 minutes to beat them alone, because you have to wait for them to attack you. And some of these boss fights are like the Sanctuary boss fight, the final bosses for both Sonic Story and Trip Story. And Fang, I kid you not, I wanted to quit just because of the Fang boss fight, because you died and you got like reset to the 5 minutes worth of gameplay. The game is great, but the boss fights were either great or absolute garbage. But yeah, that is one thing I hate from every Sonic game. Let me know what you want to see next in the comments down below. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe for more content, and see you guys next time.